Hello everyone, and welcome to There Is No Way People Would Let Me Get Away with Two Unscripted Videos back to back, where today we are going over even more stuff coming in Season 21. Season 21 is called Season of the Deep. We knew this already, but Bungie has released the first teaser image for the season. Perhaps a signal that Guardians will be overcoming their biggest weakness, knee-high water. Sloan, the NPC from Titan, the destination Titan, not the class, looks pictured here with an arm being kind of like consumed by some taking energy, something like that. All right, okay. Next, we have what I'm most interested in: new Strand Aspects, one per class, coming next season. Hunters, you are getting Threaded Spectre. When you use your class ability, you leave behind a decoy, and when the decoy is attacked a bunch, or enemies get close, it explodes, dealing damage, and it releases threadlings. Very awesome hunter flavor here, for sure. But how much it fits into some kind of a build, I think still to be determined. Hunters now have a way to dial in on a threadling build with grenades and a dodge that can produce threadlings. Definitely some potential there. Although I do think that threadlings are a little bit weak in endgame content. We'll see how long that decoy lasts, maybe how much damage it ends up dealing before coming to any conclusions. Next, Titans are getting Fléchette Storm. When sliding, oh boy, activate your charged melee to leap into the air, knocking away targets and dealing damage. When airborne, activate again to launch a cluster of damaging, unraveling projectiles. Repeatedly activating melee will chain more throws. I tend to be a little skeptical at any sort of slide melee type thing on Titan because it usually ends up being more effort than it's worth. They're cool attacks that just aren't really a part of the meta or really a part of anything. Consecration, for example, on Solar, it's very fun, and there are definitely builds that you can use to play around Consecration. But when the other two aspects are just so basic and easy to use and super strong, it's tough to get people to try out the slide attack. Howl of the Storm is another one on Stasis, but an attack that I consider relatively weak on what is already a pretty weak subclass. I do like Unravel, but ultimately this will depend on the damage output of the attack and how viable it ends up being. In terms of current aspect synergy, Into the Fray is probably what you're going to link up with, giving you melee regen when you have Woven Mail, which for Titans is incredibly easy to proc, although with Threat of Warding, it's easy for anyone, really. The Titan kit for Strand is already incredibly strong, though, so it may be tough to pull people off of the security of nearly infinite suspend in endgame content. Strand Titan is one of the strongest endgame builds. Hopefully it's fun and or strong, at the least. Warlocks, you are getting the Wanderer. Tangles you throw attach to enemies and detonate into a suspending burst, and threadling final blows create a tangle. This aspect is probably the one I'm most excited about in terms of strength. Warlocks do have suspend capabilities, but not in the exact same way that Hunters and Titans do. It's not as on demand. Having something where you can throw a tangle and have it suspend in an AoE is also technically not as on demand as a Titan Barricade or a Hunter Dodge, but it definitely brings Warlocks into the mix. Threadling Final Blows, making a tangle, I don't think will be that strong in endgame content as we've discussed, but it helps nonetheless. Honestly, I think you could use either aspect we have now with the Wanderer. You could use Weaver's Call to just instantly spawn some Threadlings, maybe make a tangle. You could use Mind Spun to consume a Threadling grenade, or you could just go full into Suspend and consume Shackle grenades and convert that Osteostriga Infinite Suspend easy mode build that I called super boring into something even stronger than it already was. You'll have constant suspend from chaining Weaver's Trance from Mind Spun, and you can throw tangles for more suspend. Very excited to see what happens here. Very excited to see how even more boring this build might become. Next, we have some economy changes. Some of these things have been mentioned already in the past, but we will re-review. First up, power and pinnacle caps are not moving. They are staying at 1800 and 1810 respectively. Nothing changing there. Next, exotic armor focusing and decryption. It is indeed a thing. Check the video I made on that for more information. Has all the details you need. It's linked in the description. I'm not going to do another 4-minute segment on it. Bungie has taken a pass at exotic armor stat packages, and we should be seeing more consistently higher statted exotic armor, along with potentially spikier stats as well. Love that. Also, because the pinnacle cap is not being increased, the need for a lot of pinnacle sources is not going to be as high. Bungie will be replacing the rewards for the basic complete activities challenges to a focusable, powerful exotic engram, giving people as few as 3 to as many as 9 free exotic engrams to use for focusing. I know this was a big concern when Bungie talked about this feature previously. Why they did not mention this at the same time, I do not know. Maybe it wasn't finalized, but this is where your exotic engrams are likely going to come from. There are other sources as well, like the Season Pass and vendor tracks, as usual, but these are a bit more free. Getting to the pinnacle cap will be a bit slower as a result if you're not there already. I'm assuming, based on the language that Bungie is using, that the pinnacle cap will increase in Season 22, but that is just a complete guess. Deep sight activation and crafting changes. Okay, a while ago, Bungie spoke about the ability to turn weapons that were not deep sight, aka red borders, into a deep sight weapon, which you would then be able to consume to make progress on that weapon's pattern. That time has now come, thanks to the Deepsight Harmonizer. The Deepsight Harmonizer currency will be added in Season 21. You use this currency to turn a weapon that has a weapon pattern associated with it into a deep sight, aka a red border weapon. I don't think it literally turns the weapon into a red border weapon that you then consume again. I think the currency is basically just like, hey, so this non-red border that you have, I can extract some pattern progress out of it, even though it's not a red border weapon. It's a way of reducing some bad luck with getting red border weapons for pattern progress. At the start of Season 21, there will only be 6 of these currency available for the whole season, and they only come from the Season Pass, 3 from the free track and 3 from the paid. This is probably to test things out and make sure nothing breaks from this experience, and then Bungie will maybe adjust, so use it as a way to finish off a bunch of those 4 out of 5s that you might have. For non-raid weapons, you can just use the Harmonizer, it's no problem. For raid weapons, you also need 15 spoils. Here's what you can't do. You cannot use a Harmonizer on a gun that you already have the pattern for. That's pretty obvious. You cannot use a Harmonizer on a gun that you already extracted pattern progress from. So if the gun you're trying to use the Harmonizer on dropped as a red border originally, you can't double dip. And finally, you cannot use a Harmonizer on a gun that has been purchased from a raid vendor. Ow, that one stings, but I guess Bungie didn't want people to instantly be able to get a craftable raid weapon after one raid clear or something like that. Would have loved a cooldown or something on this effect. That's tough. That's a little tough. But engrams bought from Xur or the gunsmith are eligible. They are fine. I'm basically reading this feature as you get 3 to 6 free red borders of your choosing for the season. That is a lot higher than the 0 we currently get, so overall, a win for everyone. I'm looking forward to wrapping up some raid weapons, considering my current luck in getting red borders from encounters right now. Legendary shard costs will be removed from all crafting components, glimmer and cores will be untouched, and enhanced weapon costs will still require shards, as Bungie is not yet modifying the weapon masterwork economy in Season 21. Next, quality of life change. Exotic raid weapon drops. Recently, Bungie has made it so that completing challenges and triumphs related to a dungeon or a raid gave you a bonus chance to get the exotic from the dungeon or the raid, or a higher chance of getting the exotic. They are adding this feature to older content. 1,000 voices with Last Wish. Sorry for forgetting about 1,000 voices in the conditional finality video, by the way. I'm stupid. Eyes of Tomorrow with Deepstone, Collective Obligation with Vow, Vex Mythoclast with Vault, and Touch of Malice with King's Fall. Very good stuff here. No one complaining about easier to earn raid exotics. Next, what has been a long time coming. Long time coming. Finest Matter Weave is dead. Rainmakers are dead. anytime you will have gotten one of these things going into the future, you're just going to get a core, or you're just going to get 3,000 Glimmer. You can dismantle Matter Weave for cores and Rainmakers for Glimmer starting in Season 21. Oh my god. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Alright, enough of that. Archie, aka the Good Boy Protocol Robot Doggy, is coming back in Season 21 to the tower. I love it. Some Vanguard bounties are getting some slight changes. Grenade, melee, headshot, special weapon, power weapon kill bounties will require more kills, but you can do them anywhere in the game now with bonuses in Vanguard playlists. There's a couple of other changes there too, but they're bounties. Let's just move on. Next, Bungie is increasing the price of buying a season from 1,000 to 1,200 silver. Pricing is unchanged for the Lightfall Standard and the Lightfall Plus Annual Pass editions. Can't imagine literally anyone will be happy about this at all. It is a 20% increase or a $2 increase. My opinion of this is the same as any other Eververse-related thing. I no longer have opinions on them because the Eververse is non-negotiable. Bungie is going to charge what they want to charge, and you're going to deal with it because there is no recourse otherwise. We got some new cosmetics for Trials coming. Ghost, Ship, Sparrow, Shader. The shader is a permanent unlock once acquired, but this shader, Glorious Patina, is only available during a Season 21 Flawless. Future seasons are going to have older Trials shaders return. The Messenger is coming back, and Arc Glaive is coming, while the Inquisitor Shotgun and Whistler's Whim Bow will be removed from the loot pool. Next, we have a super long section on Trials that I really don't want to talk about that much, so I'm really going to try to condense down this section because this is not a PvP channel. First, there's a whole thing about how matchmaking went for some Crucible Labs Trials weeks. I'm not reading all that, but I'm happy for you, or sorry that happened. Bungie is making some changes to the intro quest for getting access to Trials. They're making it a bit easier. Bungie is making it so the Passage of Mercy now forgives 2 losses versus 1 to make it easier to go flawless. Last time I checked, flawless means no flaws, but all right. A rather big change is coming in. Bungie is changing the core game mode of Trials from Elimination to Dominion. What the hell is Dominion? It's the zone capture mode, in case you're not in tune with Trials. Bungie has a big old list of reasons as to why they're doing this. You can sort of do elimination or cap the zone. Games are faster with the zone. There's more varied engagements on all maps. There's a healthier sandbox variety. There's more balancing levers to change the gameplay experience. I have no horse in this race at all. So to me, I'm very just whatever about this. I would hit up some more dedicated Trials people for their takes, but I imagine the feedback is going to vary on this pretty heavily. I go flawless maybe once a season with some friends, and otherwise really do not engage in Trials that much. Gilded Flawless is getting a rework as well to be more like Glorious, and Bungie is introducing a new Trials emblem for people who never trail during any of their wins on their Flawless run. You gotta win, and you gotta win hard to get this emblem. That is the whole update for today. I kind of gave my thoughts along the way this time, so if you're just skipping to the end to hear what I think about stuff, yeah, sorry about that. And that's it. That's it. All right. Thanks for watching. See you next time.